Hello everyone, good afternoon. Hello everyone, good afternoon. This is Devendra Soman from Nisarga Herbs. Welcome back. So we had an event last week with Dr. Mahajan where we spoke about the importance of skin in immunity as well as taking care of your skin for a healthier life. So today we have an esteemed guest with us, Mrs. Ashwini Gowariker, and I'm just waiting for her to come online. As soon as she's online, I will add her to the chat and give you an introduction as to who she is and what she has done and what her dream about this community is. So just give me a couple minutes. So Salma ma'am, welcome to the chat. I am very glad that you have decided to join us today. For anyone else who is watching, I would like to introduce Mrs. Dr. Salma Prabhu. She's a child specialist working in Pune for a long time. She has a lot of experience in working with children who are naughty, children who do not like to study too hard. I know because I was one of them at a point. So I'm glad she's here. Yes, Salma ma'am, thank you for putting your proper introduction in the chat. I'm not the best when it comes to introducing people, so your help is really appreciated. So today we have Mrs. Ashwini Gowariker with us, and she has started a new community for kids and kids' mothers. So I think her role is especially important in these times when uh, all the children are very much frustrated with the lockdowns and the social distancing norms and the fact that they cannot go to school, they cannot go out and play, do anything. So I really believe that her role is very important right now. So we are still waiting for Ashwini ma'am to come online. Salma ma'am, I really appreciate your feedback. I absolutely agree with you that children they need to enjoy and learning happens automatically. I really believe what you're saying. Okay, so Ashwini ma'am is going to be here in a minute. I think she's having some technical difficulties. I know it has been hard on everyone, and internet services are not really the best in these days. So, just to give you a background of what Nisarga Herbs is, so we are a 10-year-old company that has been working in India, and so we are actually one of the only companies that started selling our products in the US first. And once we had an idea that the products are successful, they're effective, that's when we launched in India. Now, okay, so I guess let's see, some new additions have happened in the people who are watching. Just need to see if Ashwini ma'am is in the group. She's not yet. Okay, so like I was saying, so Nisarga Herbs, we have a lot of natural supplements. We have a lot of certifications, which sets us apart from the competition and the rest of the industry. We also believe that the product should be well researched. The quality of the materials used should be uh, at par with what you would expect for an export quality product. And we do a lot of research, we do a lot of clinical trials, and we ensure that the product that you're getting from our brand is the best quality that you can find here in India. So, for people who are watching right now and we are waiting for our guests to come online, I would request the people to keep comments and basically tell us what your experiences have been in terms of your children not being able to go out, or your children being frustrated of not doing what they want to do. And I know a lot of kids, they hate schools because they think holidays are the best. But if you give them a holiday that is big enough, like this lockdown, I think that really changes the way they see at holidays, and that will change going forward, I would say. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so I see Ashwini ma'am here, but I don't see her in the invite section. So, uh, Ashwini ma'am, are you doing the live session from the Facebook app, or are you doing it on the browser? Because you need to be on the application. Because until I can see you in my list of attendees, I cannot add you to the conversation. Okay, so I would just like to introduce what the topic for today is taking care of special kids and taking care of kids in this whole lockdown issue. So Ashwini ma'am is here, but I still don't see her name in my list. Ashwini ma'am, are you on an Apple phone or an Apple tab, or are you on Android? Because I am on Apple, so just wanted to check if we are on the same systems, because we've already gone through these issues the last time. Ashwini ma'am, I am on an iPad too, but for some reason I cannot see your name in the list of viewers. So I don't know if you need to allow something or something needs to be done. Okay, so I think she sent me a request. I just need to see where the request is.
स्मॉल ग्रीन आयकॉन आहे तुझ्या नावाच्या शेजारी.
Okay, so everyone, I think we've figured out what was going on, and the issue has been solved. So let me start by introducing Ashwini ma'am. So today's topic is basically taking care of kids in this pandemic while they're sitting at home. Also, uh, taking care of kids with special needs and children who are special in their own way. And Ashwini ma'am, so let me introduce you. Thank you for making this time available to us today, and I'm very
It's a
glad that
pleasure.
you have joined us. So let's start with a small introduction of Ashwini ma'am. So people who are not aware of who Ashwini ma'am is, uh, let me just make them aware. So she's basically the founder of ismartmoms.org. I would recommend all the viewers to go and see what the website is. Look at the really good information that is available for parents of all children. And just an introduction of her, she's a compulsive writer of stories, has won many awards for her creative writing with a vast experience in advertising. She presently owns Tuatara, and much of her time is also invested in building her dream, that is iSmart Moms. And that's why we are here today. Also, on a personal note, I would like to mention that she's a very well renowned food blogger, and I can't wait for this pandemic to be over so I can get to taste some of her amazing dishes that I keep reading about in the blogs. So, welcome, Ashwini ma'am. How are you today?
Thank you. Thanks for the lovely introduction. I
Perfect.
started
Perfect. You can hear me well because I can hear you
perfectly.
properly.
Perfectly, perfect. I can hear you.
All right, perfect. So we have a few curated questions from the parents that we talk to on a regular basis, and we will take questions from the audience as well as they come by. So the first question for you from me is, for all the readers, can you tell us how iSmart Moms was formed, and how did it culminate into a platform for community building that it is today?
Right. So basically, the poster said special children. So we talk about a subset of that. We're actually speaking of mothers of children who are.
Ashwini ma'am, your voice is not very clear. If you
No,
could just
okay.
speak
I'm
up a
gonna.
bit louder, please.
Yeah. Well, I just increased my voice. Is it better now? Better now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
You can hear me now? Yeah. I think there's a bit of a reverb, which is why you're having a problem. But
Yeah.
is
This
there a
is
reverb?
perfect.
Okay, super. So I was saying
No.
that
This is
these.
perfect. Please go ahead.
Okay, super. So what I was saying was that if the mother of a child who has autism spectrum disorders or ASD is like a full-time job plus overtime plus commuting time, and the mother's entire day is so full that she barely has the time for 10-minute lunch breaks and maybe like 2 or 3 loo breaks during the day. Okay, that's all the time she has left because it's a busy life. She's taking her child to therapies, to school, back. She's just working on the social skills. She's tackling his food sensitivities. She's dealing with sensory issues. And what happens subsequently is while the mother knows that out there are better strategies, there are tools she can use, there's information that she can use. Where is the time? Where does she have the time to even look for these things? So actually, the intent of iSmart Moms is to give these mothers a place to go to where they can get authentic information, where they can get tips, where they can get advice, where they can get expertise, and where they can connect with one another. That's really the objective. So that is why iSmart Moms even came into being. So that's like, just to I mean, iSmart Moms could be a slightly misleading name. Actually, it has nothing to do with Apple or or iPhones or anything. iSmart Moms is basically the iSmart is an acronym for India's special mothers get access to resources and tools. That's it.
Okay. Wow. That is very good. I
That's
always
long.
thought that it is very high, but I'm very glad that you gave us what it actually means. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure all the readers are very surprised to hear that as well. Okay, so what is the goal of the organization, and what is the dream that you have in building this community, and what is the, I would say, the objective, not the end goal, but the objective of having this community?
Okay. Okay, so the goal of this community is to basically have a place, a safe, authentic, trustworthy place for mothers of ASD children to go to, where they get the tools and the tips that they need to take better decisions. For example, so what we actually end up doing is you know, we get experts to talk, we get articles, we get research findings, and you would say why research findings, but there's this whole debate. I just give you an example. There's this debate on about gluten-free food for autistic children. So quite recently, he released an article which talked about a new study which actually shows the connection or the lack of connection between gluten-free food and autism. So mothers can actually make an informed decision on whether they want to spend 2 extra hours and lots of money getting gluten-free ingredients and cooking them, or whether it's not worth it. We also want mothers to meet other mothers. Currently, we do this online with blog reviews and with apps and stuff. But over time, we want this to be live. Now you asked me about the dream, right? The dream is
Of course.
actually to to go 100 steps ahead and to actually make Ismart moms a place where special moms can hang out together. They can exchange experiences. They can share their frustrations with other women who will actually understand what they're going through. They can also set up play dates offline. They can you know plan their life in such a time in such a way that they actually get some me time. That's the dream. That's really the dream.
Okay, wonderful. One of the questions from the audience, the first one I think, is why do we need an India specific site? So I am sure there must be some support sites that work for the US audiences or in Europe, but why India specific site is one of the questions.
Okay. And that's a very relevant question. You're right. There is a lot of information out there, but India has its own unique culture and its own unique traditions. Now, a child with ASD, for instance, needs logic and needs consistency. We have traditions like if you go to a relative's house, the dadaji or the uncle will grab the child, hug him, put him on his lap, or put her on his lap. And for a child, the message that he or she is getting is it's okay, to sit on old people's laps. What do you do when the child goes out and sits on his principal's lap, or or in unsafe places? So I think that there is a special way in which these things need to be addressed, and that can only come from an Indian. That is why I thought an Indian side would make sense.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for answering that question from the audience. For the people who are just joining in, we have Mrs. Ashwini Gowariker, who is the founder of ismartmoms.org, which is a website that helps children of all ages and their mothers with support in terms of helping them grow into the proper pillars of society that they have to be at some point in their lives. So, in case you have any questions, please do ask in the comments. I will be happy to pass them on to Ashwini ma'am. And everyone, welcome. This is Nisarga Talks. I am Devendra Soman, and we are here with Ashwini ma'am. So, ma'am, the next question is how do people consult and what do they expect from the organization? So, how should they get in touch with you or the doctors that are working with the website, and what should they expect in terms of support?
Right. So the answer to this is a little dynamic. Okay. So currently, what you can expect is authentic, trustworthy information. You can expect trustworthy, authentic advice from the experts, because each piece that goes in there is very, or it comes from very, very respectable sources. We also have incredible people. I mean, people who have supported the site from the day it began. When it was still shaping up, we had really eminent people who came up and who helped and encouraged and supported us. So, for example, you will find that on the site there is an article by Dr. Archana Kadam, who's a very eminent developmental pediatrician. She was actually the first person who contributed to the site with an article. So we've got really great authors. There's Dr. Arti Soman, who is there to answer any question about Ayurveda. She's there for. So we've got very trustworthy, eminent people with us who and we're fortunate. I think we're blessed in that. So that's what they can expect today. I think going forward, a community site, so these mothers can actually expect to meet other people like themselves and resolve issues that are in their heads right now. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Of course, it definitely does. Uh, Wonderful. We have one more question from the audience. Uh, will you also be sharing details of the therapists based on their specific area of expertise? For example, occupational therapy, speech therapy, etc., etc. So, do we have a database of therapists by area of their expertise as well as what area of which city they are in? Do we have a database of that sort?
Okay. As of now, we've just got a database of inclusive schools. That's something that we do have. And right now, we've limited ourselves to a few cities. But if we get a request, we'd be happy to invest time and energy and resources in getting more, because it's a very, very valid question and a very important one.
Of course, of course. Uh, so I would like to add on that question
Yeah.
is if someone else from a different city is watching this video right now,
Yeah.
are you looking for volunteers to set up local chapters of your online community? Because you might be able to help people who are in your city and arrange events and take care of everything where you are based out of.
Mhm.
But are you looking for volunteers in different cities to start local chapters?
I would actually, nothing would delight me more, Devendra. Nothing
Okay.
would be more exciting. Right now, you know how ORG sites work. They're non-commercial sites, they're non-profit sites. So,
Of course.
we work with a shoestring team, with a shoestring budget, and but yeah, if there are volunteers who can join us, we would be more than delighted, because it's a necessity. Today, it's a necessity.
Okay, so the next question I have is how can the parents overcome the panic state in a child with this change of routine? So, this is related to the pandemic that we are going through right now.
Yes.
And as I was talking to the audience before you joined online, is that kids are acting very crazy because they are not supposed to be living the way they have to live
Yes.
right now. They're supposed
Yeah.
to be free, they're supposed to run around, they're supposed to play, and none
Yeah.
of that can really happen right now. So,
Yeah.
uh, what would you recommend parents do?
Yeah. See, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, and this children are frustrated currently, and online schools can a certain amount of work in terms of imparting knowledge, but children need to learn with all their senses. Children can't just be watching a screen and learning, right? So, for children with ASD
Of course.
specifically, even bigger blow, because children with ASD, the one thing that they need the most is a routine. And the COVID pandemic has taken that routine, crumpled it up, and thrown it out the window. So these kids are ungrounded currently. What parents could do is a
I
new routine.
I
They could
think
create a
we've
new routine,
lost Ashwini ma'am.
games
Okay,
which
you're
include.
sorry.
Am I there?
No, no,
Yeah.
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So,
There was
yeah.
some connection issue.
So I was
Please go ahead.
saying that yes. So parents can actually create and fill it with games, sensory activities, fine motor skill development, gross motor skill help. Get the children to help, because things like lifting things, carrying things actually fulfills their sensory needs as well. So they could so you even with the screen time. I mean, children are watching a lot more of screens right now, right? So one can find apps and stuff which transforms the screen time into a learning experience. And Ismart Moms has recently done a whole series of articles on COVID, on this period basically. where we've addressed this. We've actually given, talked about games that they can play, how they can do sensory, develop. Sensory lessons, for children using games. So we've got information on that.
So I would basically ask and request the audience to do visit ismartmoms.org and go through those articles so you get a more detailed idea as to how you can take care of your kids in this pandemic. Uh, I see there are a few new participants in our chat today, and I would like to introduce them to you, of course, so that we are talking with Ashwini ma'am, who is the founder of ismartmoms.org, and it is a site that helps parents as well as their children in dealing with day-to-day life and just makes parenting a bit more easier for everyone. So, okay, so let's go to the next question. So, what type of engagement, educational games, activities can a parent play, keeping in mind schools are virtual now? So, this would basically be an expansion on my previous question is
Yes.
what kind of games would you suggest? So, if you could just expand a bit on maybe
Yeah.
one of the articles that you have done on your website, that would be really
Yeah.
helpful.
Sure. Okay. For instance, a sensory game, okay, for smaller children could be to with and hide little gifts inside or hide little treats inside. So the child puts her hand into the rice, and there's a lot of sensory play and a lot of sensory need fulfillment, and they pull out the rice. So this is a very simple game. They get a little treat at the end of it. Replace it with pasta the next day, maybe shredded paper one day, and this is a very simple example of a game. Or you could create a game about carrying things from one place to another. So you say whoever carries stuff for the mom and child can play it, the dad and child can play it, where basically they're transporting blocks or stools or little vessels. So it's just the whole act of lifting, carrying, and putting down fulfills sensory needs. So these are a couple of examples of games. You can also do skating games where you make the child walk in a certain way, bear walk. So there are several things.
Okay. Do you have an article on the website that parents can refer to and see what kind of games they have or what kind of things they can do? Do you have an article like that on the website now?
Yes, yes. So if you go to the home page, there's a big banner on COVID-19, and if you click on
Okay.
that, you get taken to skill building during the pandemic. So skill building has a lot of games. It has a lot of games and it has resources. So it tells you where to go, where you can get a lesson plan which involves games and so on. And we will keep adding to that.
Okay, okay. So the audience is ismartmoms.org, they come out with 3 or 4 blogs a month. Is that correct, Ashwini ma'am? If I'm wrong, please
That's
correct me.
correct. Yes.
But
No,
they
yes, yes.
have new
Even more.
information coming in, and please visit the website, follow the blogs, and you will be a much smarter parent at the end of every month. Is what I would like to say. Now we have one more question from the audience. This is from Mrs. Patil. So, are we dealing with special children all the way, or normal children as well?
Currently, we're talking about a subset of special children, children with autism spectrum disorders, and on the periphery, because that's what we have the resources for. But when we talk of neurotypical children, I mean, you might have a complete neurotypical child with, say, a sensory issue. So I think it's anyway worth just running through the site and passing it on to somebody who really needs it for the information.
Okay, okay. Uh, so, is there any plan to expand into supporting all children? So, not just children with who are on a different spectrum, but you
Skills
or
to
tools.
expand. But we can, I mean, like, we would be able to include ADD into this. Okay, we would be able to include a little, go slightly beyond the official borders of the spectrum. But I do not think that we have the bandwidth to handle more than that, to handle,
Okay, okay.
and also the expertise goes away because then it becomes more like a general site, which would be another site, not this one perhaps.
Okay, of course, of course. I guess, Mrs. Patil, that answers your question. Uh, so the next question is, are there any tools that have come out recently during the lockdown for children? So will technology tools with less social interaction help? So have you seen any new apps or something new that has come out in this lockdown period that is specifically geared to help children cope with staying indoors at all times?
No, I haven't actually come across specific apps that have been created for the lockdown during the lockdown period, but we know of a lot of apps that came up earlier which can be used during the lockdown period. In fact, in a way,
Okay,
I
I
mean, if one
think
is to look at
we
the,
are breaking up a bit.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. Can you see me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, if you could just
Can you?
repeat your response.
Yeah, I said that I haven't come across any app or anything that has been created during this time or for this time specifically, but there are a lot of tools and apps and stuff which have come up earlier which can be used during this time is what I was saying. Uh, and
Okay,
in a
okay.
way, this
So we
yeah,
have one more.
yeah.
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, no, I was just going to say that in a way,
There
the
seems to
fact
be
that the
some
whole,
lag in me talking
yeah,
and
I think
you
so.
receiving my response. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Please go
yeah.
ahead. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there was a lag earlier as well, but I think it's gone away for me anyway. So okay. So I was saying that the fact that the whole family is at home is in a way a good thing for a child with ASD because it's a perfect opportunity to learn life skills. You know, taking turns, following rules, problem solving can all be learned through games during this time because when do you get an opportunity to have the whole family playing together? Now it's possible. So in a way, I'd like to look at the pandemic like that for children with ASD.
Okay. We have a couple questions from the
Okay,
audiences now.
right?
Mr. Barve asks, is just proper parenting helpful in case of kids while growing up, or should they be on some kind of supplementation as well?
Is Mr. Barbe asking specifically about children with ASD or any child?
The audience would be pleased, I guess, if you both in terms of ASD children as well as just normal children. So
I don't feel qualified to to actually answer that
yeah, I mean, I know you are
regular.
not a doctor to answer it, but any any light that you could, if you want to put on that subject, you can always
Yeah,
say
yeah.
no, that you are not a specialist and you would
Yes,
not
yes.
like to
I'm
answer,
not.
and
Yeah,
we
but
would
I
not
think the
force you to answer that question.
yeah, but I think what I would say is if your child is not neurotypical, okay, I would suggest that you go to a person who can answer that because very often what happens is that people tend to go with their own solutions. They say, and that's actually a hindrance, because a real problem often does not get diagnosed on time, and the benefits of early intervention don't kick in because people are trying to solve the problem on their own. So if there's any unusual behavior, any delay in milestones, uh, I would I would urge people to go to a doctor, to a pediatrician first, and then to a developmental pediatrician, because they will get the benefits of early intervention, and that's critical when a child is small. That's all I would say.
Okay. I would like to add to the response that you just gave is, are there reservations in parents to go to the doctors if they start noticing that their children are missing milestones? Are you seeing this in our society today? Even though we are progressing and we have
Mm.
metropolitan cities all around us now, are you still
Yeah.
seeing reservation in parents to accept the fact that their children might be on a different spectrum?
I I am afraid I would agree with that. I think with unlike with physical issues. So if somebody has a physical problem, it's addressed immediately. But I think when it comes to neurological or neurological problems, I think that the entire larger family tends to be in denial. Even the parents tend to be in denial, because who wants to accept that there's a neurological condition? Very few people want to accept. So until it becomes absolutely imminent, I think unfortunately people don't go to a doctor, and the child misses the benefits that she or he could have got with early intervention.
Okay. So we have one more request from the audience. It's from
Yeah.
Iravati ma'am. She's saying that she couldn't hear well when you talked about your expansion plans. So if you would just like to say something on that again, I'm sure she would be happy. So
Yeah, and I would be happy to talk about them. So what I was saying was, right now we have authentic, trustworthy information, expertise, and reviews. But going forward, we'd like to get more experts, expand into other geographies, do more reviews, have more live sessions with consultations, and facilitate the whole community, so that it's not just the site talking to mothers, it's mothers talking to one another and mothers talking to the site. So it becomes an ecosystem of uh, wealth in ASD parenting. That's really
okay.
the dream and the expansion plan.
Okay.
Does that answer?
So let's move on to the next question. Sorry, you were saying something?
No, I was just asking Iravati if it answered her question. I hope so.
Ah, okay. Well, Iravati ma'am, in case you did not receive a full answer, please send a comment and I would be happy to ask that to Ashwini ma'am again. Let me see if we have any other questions. So let me just say this is Devendra Soman from Nisarga Herbs, and we are here on Nisarga Talks with Ashwini ma'am, who is the founder of ismartmoms.org. It is a site that basically gives support to mothers as well as children who are on a different spectrum, and each child is special in its own way. So please do go ahead and visit www.ismartmoms.org, and she has some wonderful of dealing with children and children's issues during this pandemic. And as we all know, sparks can fly when so many people are in the house 24 hours a day. So
Yes.
I'm very sure that the articles will definitely help a lot of parents out there. So let's move on to the next question. The next question is, how can parents ensure their kids' progress in life doesn't halt due to this pandemic? So now this is not regarding just games, or how would you say is what would your recommendation be so that the kids keep progressing even till maybe the
Yeah.
end of this year, because the government so far has still not declared when they might reopen schools all the way.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay. As far as children with ASD are concerned, the main things that one looks for is independence. So to say, one actually is anecdotal. I was talking to somebody just yesterday who has a child with autism, and she said that during this period, she's just been so overworked, and on top of it, and she's in quarantine. Somebody in the family was COVID positive. And she said that she asked her oldest child, who has autism, to start helping in the house. And it was incredible that it seemed like he was always ready. She said he is doing so much work around the house and he is so responsible. So I think give them a chance to participate, to take decisions, to blossom, because this can be one of the most wonderful things you can get out of the COVID lockdown, or the slack period. So this, I think, would be very important. Another thing is, normally most children with ASD have special interests. Okay, one which people unkindly call obsessions, right? Extreme interest in a certain thing. There's research that shows that these can develop into careers. So we've covered that on the site. So I'd be really happy if people could go and read that, because I think there's a there's a lot to gain from that. Normally we just say, okay, stop doing this obsessive stuff, but actually you can channelize it in such a way that it turns into a life skill and a career perhaps. So
Of course, of course. So we comment from Riker Man. She's saying, "I'm sure dads would also love to contribute and share their ideas as well." So this might be an extension to your iSmart moms. Is maybe an iSmartDads.org as well. So thank you very much, ma'am, for that
yeah.
comment. We really
What a
liked it.
good idea. Yeah.
Of course.
That's
Now we
very,
have
very
one more question.
valid. Yeah.
Yeah. We
Go
have
on.
one more question from Mr. Nakate. He's saying that children's good and healthy health supplement products. So I know you're not an expert, you're not a doctor, you're not a medical
No.
expert per se.
No.
You are an expert, of course. What would you
Just
recommend as a very healthy diet for uh, children with special needs as well as children who are just growing up? What would you say in terms of like, so people right now, no one is eating out. Everyone is eating much healthier than
yeah.
they have in the past, I would say 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
But still, what would you recommend is a good supplementary diet for children who are growing fast?
Uh, I would answer this as a mother, not as somebody who runs a site for mothers of autistic children. And if I may
Of
take
course,
that
of course.
liberty,
We would expect nothing more. Of course. Please.
yeah, thank you. But you know what? Have and parents want children to eat nutritious food. Now, as a parent and as somebody who cooks, I don't have to be different. Child pasta, which I make at home with whole wheat. So if she eats a ton of pasta, I'm good. I'm okay. I don't care, because I know she's eating the stuff that rotis are made of, or I make muffins with dudhi bhokra, and my child wallows them, without
Okay.
realizing she's eating a huge vegetable. So I think if with a little imagination, most moms can or dads, whoever cooks in the house, can actually make sure children get really healthy food. And yeah, supplements. I think today supplements may be a good thing. Although, like I said, I'm actually not qualified to talk about these. But yeah, supplements I would suppose would be a good thing if there's something missing. Like I think a lot of us are vegetarian, and so we do miss protein. I mean, we don't get enough protein. We don't get enough iron. So I would imagine that might be supplemental.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for answering that. Mr. Nakate also says thanks. So I guess
You're right.
your answer s- has given him information that he was looking for. Are there
Thank you.
also any blogs or any articles or any tools for diet or some recommendations in terms of foods on iSmart Moms?
Right now, we don't have any. We have a few articles that talk about nutrition and what it does and specific ingredients and what effect they have. Like I was telling you about the gluten-free diet thing, or there's some stuff. But we would love to add that. If people would like to read about that, we can definitely start reviewing food sites. Right now we only we review, I mean, we review a lot of things. We review blogs by parents of autistic children. We review apps. We review books. We can also review food sites. That's an amazing insight and an amazing this thing input.
Of course. So let me see if we have any more questions from the audiences. We are actually short of time now. So, uh,
Okay.
Ashwini ma'am, would you like to have any parting thoughts, and would you like to guide our audiences in terms of visiting your website, and if there is anything else you wanted to say, please go ahead.
I think you said the most important thing there was, and which was that every child is special. And if child is has special needs, especially on the spectrum, the most powerful weapon you have is because that can translate. So, however little time you have, however busy and stressed your day is, please don't stop getting information, and please don't stop getting me time, because you need to keep calm and stay calm. And if the best one of the most effective ways of doing it is to make sure you get time away. That's what I would say. And thank you so much for asking me about this.
Of course, it is my pleasure. So, thank you so much, Ashwini ma'am, for giving us your valuable time today. Uh, I'm glad that we were able to sort out any technical issues. And
Yeah.
for anyone and everyone who is watching, uh, this is uh, this is Ashwini Gowariker, and she's the founder of ismartmoms.org, which is a that helps moms as well as children in dealing with day-to-day life. And thank you so much again for giving us your valuable time. And we wish to have you on our program again sometime soon with a few more questions from our audiences. Uh, and it has been a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here, and to I'm moved by the responses and the questions, and thank you for making it happen. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. So this is Devendra
Take care.
Soman from Nisarga Herbs on Nisarga Talks, and we will be live next Sunday at 4 p.m. on Instagram with CrossFit Chakra, which is uh, it is a CrossFit community based out of Pune, and we will be having a casual talk with them about Ayurveda, about fitness, about staying fit, general health. So I really thank everyone, all the participants, Ashwini ma'am, for being here, staying with us
Yeah.
for the entirety of the hour, and
Yes.
I really hope to talk to you guys next week. So take care, stay safe, and have a healthy. This is Devendra Soman
Thank
signing
you.
off. Thank you. Bye.